Hi guys, welcome along to the next video on the channel. Now this is going to be the predictions for the weekend's games, and obviously I'll be doing tonight's, Saturday and then Sunday afterwards. This is going to be probably one of the longer videos that I do, so please bear with it and stick in there. Starting in tonight's game, the Friday match is Sheffield United versus West Ham. Now I had a look at the stats and the statistics for this game, and I sort of ummed and ahed a little bit about what I was going to do. So I've actually gone with a 2-1 win for Sheffield United. I apologise for the banging you can hear. I think someone's trying to fix our lift. I live in a block of flats and the lift is useless, so I think someone's trying to fix it, so I apologise for that. So we're going to Saturday's Premier League games. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Now this is the early kickoff. Not an easy tie to predict this one, because Crystal Palace are very good at home, but then Crystal Palace seem to be their sort of bogey team, if you like. So I've kind of said to myself, what we're going to go here. So I've gone with a 2-1 win for Arsenal in this game. Chelsea at home to Burnley. Chelsea, they've been doing okay. I think that their home form is normally stronger than their away form. Burnley, again on the road, aren't doing too well, but I've gone with a 2-0 home win for Chelsea. Everton versus Brighton. Now, there's been rumours this week linking a few Brighton players with moves. Not so sure the truth behind them. Everton, they're kind of starting to get into playing well under their new manager. So I've actually gone with a 2-0 win for Everton. Leicester City versus Southampton. Now, we all know what happened in the previous game, that wonderful 9-0. Now, I doubt for a minute that's going to happen again, unless there's a send-off, of course. But predictions-wise, I've gone with a 3-0 win for Leicester. Manchester United versus Norwich. Now, I saw the game Monday, Tuesday it was, against Manchester City, and they play like that, and it's going to be an easy game for Norwich. But Manchester United at home, it's very difficult to back against them. So I've gone with a 2-1 win for Manchester United. Wolves versus Norwich. Newcastle, I've done it again. Wolves versus Newcastle. I think this game has the potential to be a really exciting Premier League game. Both teams are doing okay, but Wolves started a little bit, so I've actually gone safe here and gone for a 1-1 draw. Spurs versus Liverpool. Now this is the big game of the Saturday in a way. No one seems to be able to stop Liverpool at the moment. Tottenham have just lost Harry Kane. However, last time they lost Kane, they did actually do quite well, because Son and that stepped up. So I can see there being goals, but I've gone with a 2-2 draw. So moving into the Championship, and there are some really interesting games this weekend. Brentford versus QPR, it's the London derby. Now, I think this is QPR, as I said, their home form has been electrifying. They've been scoring goals for fun. But whether that's going to materialise away from home, we don't yet know. But I've gone with a 1-1 in this game. Barnsley versus Huddersfield Town, another derby, a Yorkshire derby. I think Barnsley, like I said, their results have got better. They certainly improved their performances, but then so have Huddersfield. So this could be quite a tight game, but I've gone with Huddersfield just to nick it 2-1. Blackburn versus Preston, another derby. I think this derby is definitely going to be a lot more spicy, a bit more juicy. But I think Blackburn will win it 3-1. It's nothing against Preston at all. I just think the Blackburn should win that game. Charlton versus West Brom. Now Charlton have just had that takeover confirmed in the last few days, and I think that is going to help them with what they want to achieve. But as far as this game, yes, they'll be up for it, and I think they will score. But I've gone with a 2-1 win for West Brom. Hull City versus Fulham. Hull City have got Jarrod Bowen, who is an absolute phenomenal striker, and he's someone that I'd quite happily like to see in blue and white hoops one day. But Fulham, okay, we beat them last time, and they've had some difficult results, but I do think that they'll turn this one on and then be 2-0 to Fulham. Leeds versus Sheffield Wednesday, another Yorkshire derby. So it's quite a derby weekend actually. Quite a few of them. Obviously the big one Sunday I'll get to later in the video, but I think Leeds definitely at home. They're a force to be reckoned with, and Sheffield Wednesday are doing okay, but I've got to give this one as a 2-1 to Leeds. Luton versus Birmingham City. Now, Luton Town's home form we thought was going to be what was going to keep them up, and that is their best way of surviving. But they don't seem to be winning many games at home, and I think Birmingham could go there and pull off. But I think 1-0 in that game. Middlesbrough versus Derby County. Now, my feelings on the whole Wayne Rooney's derby have been made clear, but I think that Derby's game with Middlesbrough, it's tough because Middlesbrough, like us, have gone on a really good run of form, and they just seem to be knocking everyone aside, and I think that this could be a game that they win 2-0. They're at home and they're doing well, so I'm going with a 2-0 Middlesbrough win. Just flip the page. Reading versus Nottingham Forest. Now, we've been on form recently. We had a little bit of a dodgy result in the cup against Blackpool, but Nottingham Forest are one of the teams that I admire, and we've got to play them twice in 2 weeks. Obviously, unfortunately, I'm not going up to that game now, but however, I am going to the Luton away game nearer in April. I've gone with a 2-2 draw, but I do honestly think that one of the teams will win this game. I don't like predicting wins when I don't think a team's going to win, so I'm not just going to predict the fact that we're going to win just to support them. I don't think it's going to be an easy game at all, but I've gone with a 2-2 draw, but either side can win that game. Stoke City versus Millwall. It's a tricky game, but Millwall are definitely on a decent run of form, but then I think that obviously at home Stoke City are pretty good as well, so I've kept that down to a 1-1 draw. And the final game of the Championship is Wigan versus Bristol City, and I've basically got this one down as a 2-0 win for Bristol City. I think that they are doing really well this year, and going into this game with Wigan, I think that they'll get the result 2-0. Okay, into League One we go now, and it's Bristol Rovers versus Doncaster Rovers. I won't say it's a Rovers derby because it's a bit of a cliche, but I think that Bristol Rovers have made some decent signings in the summer. In the January transfer window this week, and I think it will certainly help them. So I've gone with a 1-0 win for them. Burton Albion 1, Fleetwood Town 1. Now, my reasoning for that scoreline is I see these two as very evenly matched sides, and I can't really see either side nicking a win here, so I've gone with a draw. Coventry 2, MK Dons 0. I think Coventry at home, so to speak, at Birmingham's ground, they do really well, and I think that MK Dons aren't the best travellers in the world, so I've got that one down as a 2-0 win for Coventry. Ipswich 1, Accrington Stanley 2. Now, that's probably one of the more controversial predictions of mine. I think Ipswich's form has been dipping a little bit, and they're going through that dip of form that sometimes teams go through. And Accrington are pushing results and getting them, so I can actually see this one finishing 2-1 to Accrington Stanley. Oxford versus Rotherham. Now, Oxford have been doing really well recently, and they've made quite a few decent signings as well. One of them being Liam Kelly, the ex-Reading player, and I think he will definitely bring a lot of good play to them. But I've gone with a 2-2 because Rotherham are a really decent side, and I do think it's going to be an interesting game, so I've gone with 2-2. Peterborough versus Gillingham. I've gone with a 2-1 win for Peterborough. I think Peterborough at home, they're a force to be reckoned with. Gillingham travel well, but like I say, see can get in a goal, but I don't see this game going anywhere apart from a home win, so I've gone 2-1. Portsmouth versus Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon, I apologise. I've gone with a 3-0 win for Portsmouth. I think that AFC Wimbledon is struggling this year, and Portsmouth are starting to find results, and so that's why I've gone with them to win that game. Rochdale 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. Now, Bolton as we know, they've had a really tough couple of years. Shout out to Thogden and Thogdad. They've, supported their team loyally, and I think I can see this one finishing 2-1 to Bolton. I think they're getting goals, they're playing well together, and I think that they can get this result. And like I said, they've got games in hand as well, and just seeing them survive would be really good for them, because then they can make a real push next season for promotion. Shrewsbury versus Lincoln, I've gone with a 1-1 draw. I think Shrewsbury are playing really well at home. Lincoln City obviously have had a few interesting results recently, but I've got this one down as a 1-1. Southend 0, Tranmere Rovers 2. Tranmere, as we know, had that wonderful result in the FA Cup against Watford, and I think that's just going to inspire them into their league form. So that's where I've gone with that one, as 2-0 to Tranmere. And the final game is Sunderland 1, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Wycombe Rovers? Wycombe Wanderers 2. I think Wycombe have, they've shown why they're top of the league. They're getting the results, they're playing well together. Akinfenwa was a beast and a half. And Sunderland seem to be struggling a little bit. I know they got that good result against Lincoln, but I think Wycombe are going to go there and wake them up a little bit. So I can see that being 2-1. So we move into League 2. And we have Carlisle versus Plymouth. I've gone with a 2-0 win for Plymouth in this game. I think that's going to be an entertaining fixture. Cheltenham 1, Walsall 0. Crawley Town 1, Bradford City 2. Now, Bradford actually got a player back from Swindon. He'd been scoring loads of goals. So I think he should start, and that will obviously give Bradford a good say on the goals. Exeter City versus Cambridge United. Now, I've gone with a 2-2 draw in that game. I think there'll definitely be goals. Cambridge are finding the net well, and Exeter do quite well at home. Leyton Orient 0, Grimsby Town 2. I think that Grimsby are slowly finding their feet in the league, and that's where these results are coming from. I think this will be a great result for them, I think, personally. Macclesfield Town 1, Oldham Athletic 3. It's a bit of an ambitious prediction, but I think that the way that Macclesfield have got a lot of these problems, and Oldham need to get results, I think they're going to go there and they'll get that one 3-1. Mansfield Town 0, Forest Green Rovers 2. I think Mansfield are going through a little bit of a performance dip, and I think this is certainly a game that they could lose 2-0. Morecambe 0, Colchester 3. I think Colchester are, again, they're doing so well in League 2, and I think they are just going to be too strong for Morecambe. Salford 1, Northampton Town 3. I know it's the second game I've predicted a heavy defeat for Salford, and they did get that win against Port Vale, but I think the way Northampton are playing at the moment, they can beat, like I said, they could beat anybody. I didn't want Reading to get them in the FA Cup, and there's reason to that. Scunthorpe 2, Newport County 0. I think Scunthorpe can win that one. Stevenage 0, Port Vale 2. I think Port Vale will go to Stevenage and they'll cause them a little bit more problems than Colchester did. And obviously Stevenage are struggling, so I can see that being 2-0. Swindon Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 2. I think that Crewe are... Swindon have got a really good side, but the fact they've lost that striker, I think, could affect them, and Crewe are a really good side away from home. The National League, there's only the one game on in the National League. It's Dover versus Hartlepool, and I think that's going to be 2-0 to Dover. Now, before I go on to Sunday's games, I'm actually going to do the FA Trophy, because a lot of the National League sides are playing in the FA Trophy, so I'm going to bring that to the fore. So I'm just gonna read the results, the predictions that I've got. I'm not actually going to talk about them as such. So we've got Fylde 2, Southport 0. Barrow 3, AFC United of Manchester 1. Chelmsford 1, Salisbury 1. Concord Rangers 2, Bath 1. Darlington 2, Harrogate 2. Dorking 1, Stockport County 2. Eastleigh 2, Matlock 1. Ebbsfleet United 3, Kings Lynn 1. Farsley Celtic 1, Barnet 2. Hellsowen 0, Maidenhead United 2. Hornchurch 1, Aveley 1, Kingstonian 1, Leamington 0, Notts County 2, Dagenham Redbridge 0, Royston 1, Chester 2, Torquay 1, Halifax 0, Yeoviltown 3, Hampton and Richmond 0. And those are the FA Trophy games. Now, moving on to Sunday, there's just the 3 matches. There's the 2 in the Premier League, which is Bournemouth versus Watford. I've put this one down as a 2-2 draw. I think Watford, I said they're getting the results away from home and certainly at home, and Bournemouth are playing well, so I can see that being goals, but 2-2. Aston Villa versus Man City. I've got it down as a 3-1 City win. I think I would have said 3-0, but the way Villa played against Leicester was really good, so I've gone with 3-1 there. And the big one, the Welsh derby between Cardiff City and Swansea City, I've actually gone there with a 2-2 draw. Well, that concludes the predictions for the weekend. Again, guys, please like and subscribe. I hope you're enjoying the videos. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, then please let me know, and I'll get those videos done for you. So good luck to whoever your teams are playing this weekend, and I shall see you guys for the next video. Alright, thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.